They were already tearing it down when the HOA president stormed in, shouting about lawsuits and collapsing property values. My demolition crew lifted the first stone of their grand entrance as neighbors filmed from the sidewalks like it was a parade. They thought 6 feet could take what's mine, I thought, calm but furious. Subscribe now, because this only gets worse from here. 3 days earlier, I pulled into my driveway just before sunset. The air smelled like cut grass and faint smoke, but something felt off. The mailbox seemed closer to the road. The cedar trees looked compressed. And then I saw it. My fence was gone. Not broken. Not vandalized. Removed. Stacked neatly on my side like scrap lumber. 6 feet inward stood a brand new line, fresh posts, wet concrete, clean pale boards. A white plastic sign zip-tied to one post read, "Property boundary adjusted per revised development survey. Contact the Briar Glen Community Association for questions." Adjusted? I don't live in a community. I pay county taxes. I mind my own business. 6 feet might not sound like much. But across nearly 400 feet of property line? That's my land. And I knew instantly, this wasn't a mistake. I clenched my jaw. Something had to be done. The next morning, I drove to the Briar Glen office. Brick building. Ornate stone trim. A tiny fountain trying too hard to look upscale. "Oh, you must be Mr. Carter. Mr. Holloway has been expecting you," the receptionist said, smiling like this was routine. Greg Holloway stepped out. Pressed polo. Tight smile. Confidence in every step. "You moved my fence," I said. He sighed. "We corrected an outdated boundary based on a certified survey. There was a discrepancy. 6 feet isn't a discrepancy." He smiled wider. "We're aligning everything for visual consistency along the entrance corridor." Visual consistency. That phrase lingered in the air. Then it clicked. Their decorative entrance, curved landscaping, waterfall. Years ago, the original developer had encroached slightly onto my father's land. Verbal agreement, no paperwork, no easement. Just assumption. They thought they had leverage. They didn't. I drove straight to the county records office. Old paper. Burnt coffee. Fluorescent lights humming overhead. The 1989 plat map and the updated survey overlaid perfectly. My eastern boundary hadn't moved, legally or historically. But the Briar Glen Monument entrance curved 12 feet into my property. No easement. No formal permission. Just assumption. I stared at that map longer than I needed. I didn't tell them what I found. Not yet. The next morning, I met with a local property attorney. "They can't just move a boundary recognized for decades," he said. "And the entrance? Without an easement, it's a removable encroachment. So I can remove it myself?" I asked. "Yes. With proper notice." I filed a formal revocation of any implied permission. Certified copy sent to the HOA. Greg called before dinner. "This seems unnecessary," he said. "So did moving my fence." Silence. I gave them 5 days. On the 6th morning, they would learn I wasn't bluffing. Sunrise. Flatbed truck rolled in. Licensed crew. Paperwork in hand. Calm professionals. Stone monument lifted first, carefully, set aside on pallets. Greg arrived, tie half knotted. "You can't seriously be doing this." I handed him the recorded notice. "Structures on my property without legal easement are being removed." Next, decorative lights. Shrubs. Finally, the waterfall shut off. I watched as my land swallowed their monument. The silence afterward was louder than any shouting. "This is going to hurt us," muttered a board member. He wasn't wrong. Delivery trucks overshot the entrance. Teenagers discovered shortcuts. Neighborhood forums exploded with posts about property values. Briar Glen Preserve looked like what it really was, a row of houses off a county road. Greg called. "You've made your point." "Have I?" I asked. "What do you want?" The board came to my workshop. Different tone. Different posture. "Original boundary line is as you stated," Greg admitted. "And the entrance?" "Partially encroaches." 12 feet isn't partial when it's yours," I said. "Terms laid out. Fence restored at their expense. Written acknowledgement of boundary error. Reimbursement for excess taxes. Permanent recorded easement. Monthly compensation. Rebuilt entrance fully inside easement line." A week later, ink hit paper. The entrance was rebuilt, smaller, set back, fully compliant. No dramatic curve. No creeping edge. My fence returned, reinforced. This time, I watched every post being set. Every swing of the hammer was satisfying. Greg walked over. "Looks good." "It looks correct," I replied. Now, when I sit on my porch in the evening, headlights sweep across that rebuilt sign. It still says Briar Glen Preserve. But I know something most drivers don't. 6 feet doesn't sound like much, until it is. Was I justified? Should I have handled it differently? What would you have done? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Because sometimes protecting what's yours isn't about aggression. Sometimes, it's about standing still, and refusing to move.